Hello there, and welcome to another podcast with me, your host, Carmel Swords. This is the podcast where we discuss all things writing and self-publishing. Tools, websites, communities, anything that's out there that you can use in order to increase your readership, to develop your craft and ability as an author, that will also help you to promote your work and if you so choose, earn a living either part-time or full-time from the work that you produce. Today we're going to be looking at YouTube. YouTube doesn't really need any introduction. If you've been on the internet, you've more than likely been on YouTube. But what we're going to look at today is how YouTube can be used to promote your work, develop a readership, and overall develop an audience for the kind of work that you are producing, and to help you to show yourself off and get people interested in what you're doing. In the last sort of 2 months, I've started to use it to promote the work that I am producing. I started out by doing some readings from my short story collection, Bedtime Stories for Grown-Ups, and since then I have started to produce short sketches using my own footage, as well as footage that was uploaded by creators that can be used without any sort of copyright straitjackets on modification use. I've had to get used to video editing software, which is something that we discuss in the podcast, so I'm not going to go into it now. Besides that, I've also had to kind of get to know YouTube a bit more. When you're just consuming footage or videos, YouTube is kind of one way. When you start to become a creator of content, there's other things to take into account, but it's still fairly accessible. There's not a lot of time between you starting out and you being competent enough to upload and promote your material. The first videos I put up maybe, about 2 months ago. I started telling my friends about it. I made sure that people on Facebook and Twitter knew about it, but I'll be honest, so far it hasn't really taken off. I think probably altogether maybe I have 200 views, and I have maybe upwards of 10 or 15 videos. So it hasn't really taken the world by storm, at least not yet. The first video got the most views, sort of 70 or 80, and then it started to go down from there, even as I swapped up and changed the format. I went from doing my book readings to sketches and sort of short comedic pieces. I don't know if it's just that my comedy is really bad or that my sense of humor doesn't work for most people, but I did notice a fall in views, even though I was in some cases telling people that that the videos were up. And so far I only have a handful of subscribers as well. So if you're going into YouTube thinking this is going to blast you into the stratosphere of fame and fortune, then I would hold off on that thought and maybe consider a longer term adventure in notoriety. Now, there is a variety of reasons why you might use YouTube. In terms of the benefits, I mean, it's so well known, it's ubiquitous, everybody has an idea of what it's about. There's a lot of sharing capabilities. You can embed it into your own website, you can embed it into Facebook, you can put YouTube videos almost anywhere on the web these days. So those are some very clear advantages to using it. I guess a disadvantage though is that there is many millions of hours of footage and material and content on YouTube already, so you're up against some pretty stiff competition. People who've been on it for years, taking eyeballs away from your own work. In terms of what you might use YouTube for, well, I've already said I've used it for readings as an author. I've used it for sketches in order to kind of get across my sense of humor and my style. You could also use it to create book trailers, and you could do interviews. One interview I got was a video-based interview, and so that went up on YouTube. I guess if you're going to use YouTube like other sites like Twitters and Facebook, you have to be updating fairly regularly. In my case, I know that I'm not going to do something every week necessarily. So what I try and do is I try and do everything in one go, or like a large amount of material, and then I schedule it to go out every week at the same time. And having a schedule where people know what day you're coming out on and roughly what time will make it easier for people to enjoy your content. So I would recommend doing that if possible. In order to schedule it, you have to sign up to the YouTube program, which means that YouTube is allowed to monetize your videos. You can decide if individual videos will be a part of it, but you do have to allow some to be monetized in order to get this scheduling feature. So that's something to bear in mind. As I said, you can get footage that is freely available on the web that doesn't require you to pay the creator, and that allows you to modify it and to integrate your own elements of work into the video. For my videos, I used Videezy, which is Videezy. There's probably a couple of different sites that have footage that you can use, but this is the one I used in order to create some of my sketches. If you have more, then please tell us about them in the comments section below. As I said, I haven't found YouTube to be fantastic just yet in terms of developing a wider audience for my work. There has been a little bit of interest, but overall I haven't seen sort of the work I've done reflected in major increases in my books. I think anyone who's about to get started into this should try and understand the mechanics of YouTube. It's not simply about throwing your videos up on the website and then just sitting back. You've got to figure out how it is that people find content and how they engage with it, and how you can keep them coming back, as well as developing your own skills within the audio visual fields. So the only thing I'd say maybe with regard to YouTube, and it's something that other people have said, that if you have to make a choice, make sure that your audio is higher quality than your video. If you have to make a decision, make sure that the quality of your audio is better than the video. Some, people will accept a slightly lower quality of video, but they definitely don't want to have to listen to anything that's too grainy or tinny. Something recorded out of maybe like an old laptop microphone is not going to work. You should have a separate quality digital recorder. For instance, I use a Zoom H2, you could get a H4, there's H6s, all sorts of things. You should look into that as a starting point. If you're going to be using sort of your mobile phone or laptop microphone, then you're probably not going to end up having many subscribers. Your material is going to have to be really, really good for them to accept a lower quality audio track. You can probably get away without the video being fantastic, at least initially. And as I'm doing, you can just go ahead and probably have some still images attached to the audio, and that will probably be fine. Okay folks, well look, I'll leave it there. If you like the podcast, there's plenty more of them. I thoroughly recommend you checking them out, though of course I am biased. If you like the work overall and you've listened to several podcasts, then please consider making a donation. You can do so through Patreon, Gumroad and PayPal. Have yourselves a good day. Take care of yourselves and each other. I've been Carul Swords. I'm still Carul Swords. Goodbye.